It is great to bring you these results today. It's a Wednesday morning in Canada and here in Peru, and I'm Zach Tershwell, and I'll be talking to you about today's results. We've just started doing these videos and speaking to the results as we release them, and we're going to be doing a lot more of it, so you can look forward to a lot more of these. So today's results that have just been released, they come from the Mirador Creek area. So that's about 1.2 kilometers south of Previsto Central. And what I really like about Mirador Creek is it's kind of a new discovery. So it's something that we've been developing over the last few months, following up on some higher grade soil samples. And we've actually found quite a bit of high grade gold and some copper outcropping there. So what's developing at Mirador Creek and what we're explaining in today's results is that it looks like what initially was just a new gold zone, it looks like there may be a new gold zone and a new copper zone, completely new to the Previsto Central and Previsto North copper zone that we know well. So for those new to Hannan, we're a copper gold explorer in Peru, and we've got two main project areas. So the Belen area is where we've just been drilling, and the Previsto area, which is a very large discovery, is what we're talking about today and where the results are from. So the Previsto project is a big project because it has a big footprint. So the gold in soils and also the geophysics footprint is about 5 by 5 kilometers. And it's something that I know is that big systems have big footprints. And what that means is that we need to spend a lot of time in that footprint understanding the mineralization and finding more high-grade outcrops. So at the moment, we're in the process of nearly about to submit our drill permit application. We're aiming to submit that before the end of May this year. And then we're looking at around 8 or 10 month turnaround process to have that approved and then have the final authorizations to drill. And in that time space, every month we'll be spending a lot of time in the field exploring and expanding our high grade footprints, as well as understanding the controls on the mineralization, so that when it does come to the time to drill and we can mobilize the drill rig there, we'll be able to drill the best holes possible. These results from Mirador Creek, which were released today, come from an area about 1.2 kilometers south of Previsto Central. So it's well within that 5 by 5 kilometer footprint. And Mirador Creek is an area that's been developing over the last few months, where the first high grade sample we found there was about 4.8 grams per tonne reported last year. Since then, we've returned for several follow-up field campaigns, and it's now developing into quite an interesting zone. We've now got a confirmed 42-metre strike of high-grade outcrop there, up to 6.7 grams per tonne, which was released February. And the results from today are from that area, as well as a new copper zone, which is also developing about 300 metres to the west. So the results today are in that 42-metre high-grade gold strike, and we've got 2.8 metres of a channel sample, grading in at 1.74 grams gold and 13 grams silver, with about 15 ppm tellurium as well. So it has that interesting telluride flavour that Previsto Central also carries. What's also fascinating is it seems like a new copper zone is developing 300 metres to the west of this gold zone. So that's an area, at this stage it's about 320 by 200 metres in this polygon, with 5 or 6 samples that grade up to 1% copper and all have very similar hyperspectral signature as well. And this is interesting because it seems to be developing into a new copper zone that we previously didn't really understand. So we'll be spending a lot more time following up on these results to continue to expand the high grade footprints and understand what's controlling the mineralization. So the next step for us here to follow up on these results is to return to the same areas and look along strike and to the east and the west as well. So that means looking a little bit more closely to see if we can find more outcrops to continue to expand that strike. We'll also look closely in a structural way, looking for controlling structures to see if we can pick them out and take measurements to understand where that controlling structure is continuing. So what's exciting about these results is that it reaffirms our theory that we released earlier in the year, that within that footprint there are potentially multiple heat centres, and that it means that Previsto itself is turning into more of a gold district rather than just a gold prospect. So having the isolated zones with different geochemical signatures which also correlate with some of the aeromagnetic signatures as well. Having those different zones, it supports that theory that we are dealing with indeed a gold and copper system that is bigger than previously thought. What I really like to see is that each time we're going out into the field, we are finding more. And it is, I think, a testament to how much mineralization there is still to find. Because this project is early stage. It's only been prospected for the last 18 months or so. Each campaign that we're able to spend out there in the field, we're able to find more mineralization and expand the discovery. At the moment, we are well funded and we have a very experienced, successful field team who know their way around the jungle, who are working almost around the clock to continue making these discoveries. That's what it comes down to, is spending more time in the field, and that's what we are doing. So we're not sitting around waiting for permits. We are actively working to expand and understand this discovery so that when we do come to drill it, we can do it in the best and most successful way. And what's fantastic is these results, and each time we do complete a campaign at Previsto, it's de-risking the project, just one more step of de-risking. Each campaign, we understand a little bit more, we expand a little bit more, and each step of that is another step of de-risking. And in themselves, these are very good results. Another thing that we're speaking about today on today's release is a recent geochemical analysis we've just completed. So looking at the strontium and yttrium ratio, which at Previsto across our magmatic rocks averaged at 93, which is remarkably high. If you look at a paper that's referenced in our news release, Luke's 2014, you'll see that the threshold 35 is used to define deposits around the world that are capable of concentrating large quantities of metals. And like I said, the average at Previsto is 93, which is just phenomenal. And what that tells us in simple terms is that the magma that we see has produced these intrusive rocks at Previsto is incredibly fertile and capable of hosting a large-scale mineralization. So to wrap it up and give you the broad picture, we've got new gold in a new discovery area, a Mirador Creek at Previsto, and a copper zone that's developing as well, which may be an indication of a porphyry below, but it's definitely interesting copper mineralization at surface. We've got strong chemical indicators of a mineral deposit, so that's the strontium-yttrium ratio, which is incredibly high, like I was speaking about. And we've got active field campaigns that are happening as we speak. We've got 6 geologists spending about 12 or 14 days in the field every month, continuing to expand these discoveries and make new ones. So stay with us, follow along, and we'll be speaking with you soon as we continue to release more results. Hey there, so we've just arrived at the copper channels just below Previsto Central high grade gold zone. So they're about 100 meters or so vertically below the gold zone. And yeah, so it looks like we're seeing a different structural part of the system. We've got a feldspar porphyry, alkaline feldspar porphyry that's just full of sulphides. Start of this channel, reported about a year and a half ago, is about 20 meters at 0.2% copper. So it's pretty significant. And yeah, we can see lots of in situ copper and chalcopyrite, as well as copper oxides, some beautiful green and blue malachite and other nice rocks. So we have something really cool here in the copper zone, just above Previsto Central. Got amazing copper oxides outcropping, and what I really like about this area is you see some live chemistry happening in action. For those chemistry nerds out there, we have probably a better idea than I do of what's going on here, but it's clear to see that the copper is being leached out of the rock, mixing with the groundwater, and it just flows down these little rock faces and is precipitating copper oxide. And it is just beautiful, that texture there in these bright blue and green colors. You can see how this is live chemistry because this leaf is getting encrusted in copper oxide minerals. So cool, I love it. Good morning. It is 8:25 a.m. Just hiked up about 100 meters up vertically from the camp this morning, and just behind me we've got our high grade, beginning of our high grade channel. So believe it or not, this outcrop behind me is about 33 grams per tonne on average, and about 60-70 grams of silver, a lot of tellurides, a lot of roscolite, vanadium mica, which is a unique mineral, and a bit of a telltale sign about these alkaline epithermal systems. So as we continue the day, I'll keep checking in and keep you updated on the rocks we're seeing. Here we are at another channel that's just about 50-70 meters to the east of our central high grade channel. And this one's at a different angle. So there's a different angle of mineralization here. And it's also important to take channels at different orientations so that we can figure out what are the controls and true widths of the mineralized structures. But what I love about this outcrop, if you look behind me, is the view. Look at this, absolutely beautiful. I don't know if you've ever been walking in the jungle with a bunch of geologists, but you'll know that it takes a long time to get anywhere because you're always stopping to look at rocks, which is a great thing because we have lots of rocks to look at. Today on day 3 of our trip, we are heading up to the copper zone on the north side of Previsto. So it's a little bit of a different access, a little less topography and a lot more time spent in the creeks. What you can see behind me is, hi Jack, hola, hola Richard, is a landslide that has happened pretty recently, a natural one, of course, that has happened since the last time we visited this area in the copper zone. So it's only a small one, but it's fantastic for us because it exposes a lot more new rocks that we haven't seen before. So we're currently finding some really nicely mineralized chunks of porphyry, a lot of pyrite, a little bit of chalcopyrite, and even some other copper minerals like bornite and chalcocite. So that's really cool. A lot of copper kicking around in this system, and just goes to show how often you need to come out here because the environment changes quite a bit from time to time. So, yeah. Entonces, ¿qué sería por acá?